In the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA096.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can
Taylor,
do
we are
for your
back
country.
4 days later. How are you doing?
How long do you think a week is? Do you know? It's not 4 days.
I've been on the lake all day. Leave me alone.
I'm good. Great.
It's been a week since we talked. For context, we record 2 episodes in a single day, and I keep forgetting what day we release on, and then I make blunders like this. But hopefully, this will all get it edited out in post. We'll see. We'll see how
Whatever,
fortunate I am.
Also just you.
Just me. I know.
To you. Hello, welcome to Doomed to Fail.
Thank you. I
It
totally
is
forgot about
probably
this.
Monday. My name is Taylor, joined by Fars. We bring you historical disasters and failures, and today we're going to hear from Fars.
And I have a really fun story today.
I'm excited. Wait, is it about? It's not about the Ark of the Covenant, but you just like happen to also be learning about the Ark of the Covenant.
I go on these weird sidewinder journeys.
That's awesome.
No, it has nothing to do with the Ark of the Covenant. It has to do with. So I'm gonna be like a little bit prejudiced for a second.
Good start so far.
So I've been to a lot of like conferences
hmm
where somebody corners me and starts telling me about the blockchain, about crypto, and I don't know how to express the degree of repellence I have towards those people, but it's like if someone were to like grope me that I didn't want to grope me, like that's how I feel. I want to just get away as quickly and as fast as possible.
What are you, I know, again, not to victim blame, but are you asking for it? What were you wearing?
I was wearing a polo. Actually, in most cases, I was wearing a polo, so I was asking for it. You're right. It was Lacoste. You, you got me on that. But all that being said, I'm going to touch on that topic
Cool.
within the parameters of a very interesting story, which begs the question, what would you do, Taylor, if you woke up one day and realized you lost $900 million?
I'd be upset.
You'd be upset.
Yes.
So I think by now, most people have heard the story of the guy who lost a bunch of Bitcoin because he threw a hard drive away.
hmm
It's so fun. It's such a fun story.
I'm excited because I don't understand why he can't just like get it another way. But also understand, 15% understand the blockchain, so I get that you can't also. So please tell me more.
Exactly. So like I want to like go through there's actually not a huge amount of content about the guy's query and search for his lost hard drive, but like so much of it is based on what the Bitcoin phenomenon and ecosystem are all about that like I'll just
hmm
like I'll start there as like a baseline here. Let me take a second.
Ours dogs are barking, but I just wanted to mention that I don't think Bitcoin is real money. But also, like, what is real money? Because we just made that up too. So why wouldn't this be like the next thing?
Anyways, so I'm gonna get into like the aspects of Bitcoin that like were actually like fascinating, like how it
Yeah.
came about and like what happened, like what it like again, these are the conversations that if I were at a bar in DC or New York and somebody were to talk to me about it, I'd be like, I literally wrote this down. Hold on, I'm gonna read from the outline directly. I go, by the way, before listeners switch this off, I'm going into the whole history of the blockchain. I'm sorry, I'm not going into the whole history of the blockchain. We've all been cornered by someone at a bar wearing Patagonia and explaining to us how money is a scam and that crypto is the future.
I feel like that
I literally wrote
happens in
that down.
DC a lot. Yeah.
I
Yep.
literally put that down because like I'm not doing that. I'm not that guy. I
Oh
promise
my
it's not going
God.
to end with me trying to sell you a doomed to fail coin. Like this is
Oh
not what it's
God, I
doing.
know. Don't buy it if we ever try to sell you a meme coin.
So my general perspective is that 99.9% of crypto is a complete and utter scam. Like it is
Yeah.
all bullshit.
I whispered that while you were away.
I'm sure. Did you really?
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna
crypto
hear.
is a scam, but also all money is a scam, but also crypto is like especially a scam.
It's obviously such a scam. It's
Yeah,
so clearly a scam. It's like this is the next one. It's the next big thing. And then, like, what are you doing with that? Like, why do you care if it's the next big thing? If it's the next big thing, then just let it ride. But you don't because you want real money.
right.
It's, but I will say that my personal belief is that Bitcoin stands outside of that equation as the only consistent thing, which is why this story is so fascinating.
Totally.
Um, for one, it has the benefit of actually like having consistent growth over time, unlike other cryptos. Also, it has a unique advantage of being capped. So there's a finite amount of it in the universe, which isn't true for like most cryptos. Like there's always gonna be more of it.
But all crypto is on the blockchain.
Yes.
Or is there one blockchain? Or it's just
So
like
there
using
is no such
blockchain
thing as like
technology to
one.
do like a lock.
Yeah,
The
it's not.
idea is the
The
locking it
blockchain
down.
is a concept. It's not
Okay.
like a.
Highway.
Yeah, yeah. It's the fact that like every computer that is like a part of that ecosystem is running the validations simultaneously for all
Hmm.
transactions. Like that's what the
Yeah.
idea behind blockchain is. So, and I learned so much here, Taylor, that like I did not know, and I'm
That's
like
it.
semi plugged in enough to know that like guys who try to sell me on this are all wearing Patagonia. So like I know enough,
I
but this still taught me something.
I love that. I love it. I'm so sorry that happens to you.
It's crazy how often it happens. Like it's insane.
If you want to like text me a safe word, I can call you.
I
You
might
have
have
this
to do this.
conversation.
I might have to do this. Um, so Bitcoin is a concept. It kind of all started with this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. For context, there's probably not a single person named Satoshi Nakamoto who did this. It's almost certainly a pseudonym for a person or group of people who came out with the original code for Bitcoin and how it was to be created, stored, and the rules by which it operates, which also cannot be changed. Um, and that's why it's capped because every private server that's mining or transacting Bitcoin is also running the code, contain the rules, and also a ledger that validates every transaction. It's like that's the
Hmm.
idea behind it. That's the
Right.
blockchain piece of it.
It's like the promise that it's like that
Legit.
you and I both don't own the same thing.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And I'll tell you, which I mean, literally, that's the problem they're trying to solve actually.
Hmm.
Real quick. So going back to Satoshi, he built off the work of others before him. The idea was to create a digital currency early on, like the 1990s is what it was, where the overhead of creating the currency involved solving some mathematical riddles or puzzles. And in exchange for doing that successfully, you were going to be rewarded with this digital coin. That was the idea of crypto, basically. And I kept asking myself, like, what problem does this solve? Like, I don't have a problem with like my money in Bank of America, you
Right.
know?
I mean, I very rarely have any physical money, almost never. Like one of our contractors who comes into stuff in the house, he's like a mountain man and does not use bank. So he needs to be paid in cash. And I had to like open a bank account at a Chase because USAA doesn't have ATMs. Because I just have never gotten cash out of ATM in years.
So here's
My
what's
money is
funny.
digital, right?
But here's what's funny is that cash isn't the problem because cash doesn't require a middleman to validate whether you have the cash or you don't have the cash, right?
Hmm.
Like you either have it or you don't. The problem becomes in digital transactions where there's a middleman in the middle that's logging the ledger on both sides of like Taylor's paying FARs. Does Taylor have this money to pay FARs? She
Hmm.
does. Does FARs have the ability to accept this money? He does. Like that gets into like what problem they were trying to solve when they first came out with crypto as a concept.
Hmm.
The first idea was again, there's no middleman, meaning you don't need a bank or any company in the middle of the transaction to validate that person X can pay person Y, which is the hypothetical we're talking about here.
Okay.
It also made debanking impossible. Like debanking is mostly a problem in authoritarian countries But when it becomes a problem in your country, like you're acutely aware of it as a thing.
So is that's different than like there's a bunch of there's a like some very high percent of the American population is unbanked because they don't have a bank. But like debanking is that like taking that away from people?
Yeah. Yeah, it's taken away
Oof.
from people.
Yeah.
Various reasons. Like again, if you're an authoritarian country and you are worth millions and you have the resources to push back against the government, well, maybe you don't have the resources anymore. Maybe you don't have a bank access to a bank anymore. Like
Right.
that's a huge issue.
Hmm.
It also, I mean, here's where like crypto gets in this weird like legal gray area. Is that like if you're working in the gray or the black markets, like you don't have access to banking. Like marijuana transactions, when they became legalized in California, for example, wasn't legalized federally, which meant that banks that operated federally, which is like pretty much every bank, they weren't able to transact marijuana
Right.
transactions.
You can only pay in cash
You only pay in
or
cash.
use a debit card and they treat it like you're taking out of an ATM.
Exactly that. Exactly
Yeah, so they
that.
give you change back from
Yeah.
wherever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, traditional money used to be fixed to the gold standard, which meant there was a one-to-one ratio of dollars in the economy to the gold being held at the Federal Reserve. The argument being that like now that isn't the case anymore, and a dollar is worth a dollar only because we decide that it's worth a dollar. And
Hmm.
there's also no cap. If the Federal Reserve decides that it wants to flood the market with cash, they can totally do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bitcoin is actually capped at 21 million coins. I actually didn't know that until today. That's the cap. They can never exceed that amount. And finally, the only requirement to be part of this version of the economy is an internet connection. Like you don't need to be a part of a
Hmm.
bank, a country, or anything. There's no holidays. There's nothing. Like it's all. And like I'm gonna be honest, Taylor. Like I don't know why all this is a big deal because I don't do anything criminal. so,
Yeah.
so I don't. I guess it's a big deal because the value of Bitcoin's gone up so much, but like I don't totally get it if I'm being honest. But whatever.
Well, they can make that X amount of coins, but the coins can be worth whatever infinite amount of money.
It's all based on market demand. It's
Hmm.
all based on what people think it's worth. It's just like cash in our
Hmm.
current market.
Hmm.
And this like this part actually blew my mind quite a bit. So 2005 to 2007 is when people high up in the global financial sectors realized that we were heading for a huge economic collapse. The international banking system started getting hit in 2007 with French and German banks becoming the first recipients of public bailouts. By late
Hmm.
2007, they had spread to banks in England and eventually the US. I did not know that. I was very self-centered and was like, this is a US thing.
I agree. I yes,
I did not
I
know
know
that.
I know there's a global economy, but I understand what you're saying.
Dude, I wrote down like there was an old saying I remember, which was when the quote, when the US economy sneezes, the rest of the world catches the cold. Like our economy is so freaking huge and so spread out.
Yeah.
Everything that we touch affects other countries. And like I did
Hmm.
not know this about the recession in 2008. But in 2008 is when the crisis actually hit the US the hardest. That's when like,
Hmm.
AIG went out of business. That's when
Remember Lehman
Burns
and Bear,
Bears,
they
yeah,
both went out
exactly.
of business. Yeah.
And this was the time when the world finally had like a clear view into like all the shady dealings and practices of the financial institutions, like how like easily they could destroy all of our lives if they wanted to.
Hmm.
And it's within that context, in August of 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto, the person, the pseudonym, the group, whatever, they
Hmm.
released their first Bitcoin into the wild, and they created as part of the ledger. It's called the Genesis coin. It's the very first Bitcoin ever produced, and as part of that, the ledger read, quote, the Times 03 January 2009, Chancellor on the brink of a second bailout for banks. So it was like a nod to the fact that like, hey, like we're trying to do something like different than
Right.
what money has been, and this is it. Um, and all of that came like I'll get into this later on, but like, do you understand how Bitcoins are generated?
It has to be mined somehow, but I don't know what that means. I don't, is that right?
Yeah, you basically they basically is part of the code base that is being run on all these. CPUs that are running the ledger
Mhm.
that mine Bitcoin, there's a logic and encryption to it, which is the computer that is running the computations for mining has to solve a very complex mathematical equation. And over time, that equation gets harder and harder because the more that is mined, the system has like a logarithmic look back towards how easy it was to mine that last Bitcoin. It
Mhm.
determines whether to increase the encryption level of the next coin that mines or
Mhm.
decrease it. Typically, what is supposed to happen is that a new coin should be mined every 10 minutes. But that's not where we are at this point because so many people have tried to mine Bitcoin that the encryption level it keeps increasing to the point where now you need industrial level processors to do that. Like you
Right, it
can't
doesn't take
do it
10
on your
minutes. It takes a
own.
long time.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly. I'm actually gonna get into that here in a bit, but it's a whole. That's how you generate them. And when
You talk about that
Satoshi
guy who mined Bitcoin at work and got fired?
at our work,
No, not at work, but like some dude like did it at his job and he like got super fired for it.
yeah, it's a horrible use of company resources.
Yeah.
Um, so in the early days, mining Bitcoin was like mostly for cryptography nerds, like people that were super into like code breaking concepts, because there
Mm-hmm.
was no value in Bitcoin. Nobody knew what it was. Like there wasn't any money to be made doing this.
It
They
was
were
like a
only
game.
yeah, it was a game. They're only doing it because they kind of caught wind of this concept on some esoteric math forums and like cryptography forums that Satoshi had posted to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After a year or two, Satoshi himself wasn't even involved in Bitcoin. Like by 2010, this released in 2008. In 2010, he was not involved in Bitcoin at all. There was no transactions or ledgers that included his wallet as part of the history of Bitcoin whatsoever. And on that note, his wallet and basically all crypto wallets are basically public. They kind of have to be so the ledger can be used for future transactions to ensure the chain of custody of that Bitcoin. So
Right.
we know that his wallet has not been touched. It's interesting because his wallet we know for a fact currently contains 1.1 million Bitcoins.
Wait, but it doesn't exist?
It does exist. That
But it,
volume of Bitcoin that this guy has held since 2010 currently makes him roughly equal in wealth to Warren Buffett, $135 billion. Dollars.
but he's not like cashing it out
Not cashing it out, not
if he
touching it.
exists.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I wonder what that's about.
One of my questions to GPT, ChatGPT, was how can someone be worth 135 billion and be anonymous? Like, how is that even possible? Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like we we know like 10 billionaires and there's like thousands of them.
yeah, yeah. He like this would put him on the list of the 15th richest person in the entire world,
Wow.
and nothing for 15 years now.
Do you think he's not a real person?
No, I think he's a real person, and I think that he is someone who is passionate about his mission and is driven by cause and not money. And
Hmm.
he knows that if he were to liquidate, it would tank the value and tank the
Oh,
transactional
that's fair.
aspect.
He obviously like, understands
Yeah.
economics.
And so he's like, I want this to survive way past me. And I think that's probably why he doesn't do it.
Wow.
I would. I would absolutely do it. The
Yeah.
ultimate rug pull.
You
Yeah.
would never see me again. Yeah.
But that's where we're going to leave Satoshi off and go into an early cryptography nerd named James Howell. James is a British man born in 1985, making him 23 years old when Satoshi released the first Bitcoin. He was always into computers and math and was a tinkerer in the early days of the internet. When the global economy collapsed in 2008, he was part of that growing chorus of people who thought the financial system was a scam
Hmm.
and full shit and was trying to screw people. And he saw the promise in the idea of crypto based on the writings of Satoshi. I actually pulled up through the Wayback Machine some of his writings, like they're weirdly like prescient to our
Hmm.
times. Like he was literally just calling a spade in a way that
Hmm.
people were probably uncomfortable to, like he was like, yeah, like this is a messed up system. Like you don't know what the incentive structures are of the groups that are doing what they're doing, and like they have the capacity to tank all of our lives. Like he was right,
Like
in my
it's
opinion.
not, yeah, it's all kind of like it's all made up and
Yeah.
it's not fair.
I
Yeah,
mean, it is made up. A dollar's a dollar because we say it's a dollar. Like it is made up.
exactly. Yeah.
So back in those days, again, anyone with a normal computer at home could mine Bitcoin roughly to the tune of 100 or so a day. So like if you just had a normal average run of the mill consumer PC, you could mine 100 Bitcoin a day, which is like crazy by today's standards. The way Satoshi wrote the rules of the original code base was that the system would look backwards as coins are mined. If too many coins were mined too fast, the difficulty level of that math puzzle would increase to reduce the amount of coins being developed and
Hmm.
sent into circulation. So back when James got involved, you could run the mining program in the background all day long as you're doing your day-to-day life. Like it's not a big deal. Like you do it on your home PC.
Right.
Like now, to mine a Bitcoin, the difficulty level has gone to the point where you need warehouses of industrial strength computers to do this at scale. Like it is. I saw some of the server farms that do this, and like they're crazy. Like you require tens of millions of dollars to run these places.
Of course.
I think I can't recall exactly, but I think the last I read was that as of now, about 19 million bitcoins have been mined. The total cap on bitcoins is 21 million. There could never be more than
Right.
21. They're saying that between the 19 million that are out there today and the 21 million that can be out there, so 2 million Bitcoin, it's going to take until 2140 till we can mine them all.
Because it's going to take
Keep
exponentially
increasing.
longer.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Which, like, it makes sense why the dollar value of Bitcoin goes up so much because, like,
Hmm.
every moment of the day, it becomes a more finite resource. But it's
Hmm.
only valuable because we say it's valuable, not because it
Exactly.
actually is.
Yeah.
Like, so for a year or so, from when Satoshi released that first Bitcoin, James was one of the first people online actually mining Bitcoins at home. And he would also do random upgrades to his computer. He would change parts of his computer tower. He would replace the hard drive, the motherboard, the GPUs.
Hmm.
Sometime in mid 2013, James was clearing out the workspace that he ran out of his house and decided to ditch some hard drives. And he asked his girlfriend, this poor woman named Hafina, to throw out a bag containing some hard drives.
Yeah.
Months later, like I think it was like 3 months later, Bitcoin hit $1,000 per coin.
Hmm.
And he was like, oh shit, I'm rich. Like, where's my Bitcoin hard drive?
Hmm.
And that's when he realized, like, I don't actually have it. At that point, it's so funny because back then, it's kind of cute. Back then, his hard drive contained $8 million of Bitcoin, which like is a lot of money, but it's like cute in comparison to like what he actually lost.
I know. Well, I mean, if you, I know, yes.
So he races down to the landfill in South Wales, where it's presumed the waste ended up, and he begs to be allowed in to search for it. But by that time, they estimate that it's buried under roughly 100 to 200,000 tons of waste.
Oh my
Like
God.
since that day, he has been continuously lobbying the city council for permission to search the landfill, and he keeps getting denied. In 2021, he offered the council 25% of the value of the Bitcoin that he can collect if he were to recover it, which they also denied. Their logic was, look, if we allow you to do this, we're going to incur a ton of cost. And there's no telling if you can find the hard drive. And if you find the hard drive, it's probably destroyed anyways.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. Like, it's probably full of water. It rains.
Well, what he said is that it was in a protective case, which like cool. Like they probably don't test those things up to 200,000 tons. Um, and he was like, it was like we'll find some forensic recovery company that can do this. Um, the estimates to try and recover the hard drive by the city council and by James himself was around £5 million. He even went so far as to offer a hedge fund 50% of the wallet if they can provide him financial support to recover it because he needed a ton of money. Like he needed to have
Yeah.
5 million in cash, in his opinion, to do this. The recovery costs by James' own estimate have since ballooned to, as of 2022, £10 million. Is now he wants to deploy AI robots and AI drones to
I thought
help
he
with
gave
this.
up.
No, he has not given up.
I thought he gave up like this week.
No, did he? I didn't read that.
I feel like, yeah, he gave up a week ago.
Seriously?
The BBC said Bitcoin, James Howells gives up on August 7th.
Oh wow, it's been 10 days. That's sad. I don't want him to give up.
I don't want to give up either.
Dude, find the hard drive, man.
James, you can do it. You can do
Right now, so he also went on, like, actually, you know what, it kind of makes sense because the other half of this I was going to say was that he actually sued the city council in 2023 for like 440 billion pounds for not allowing him to search. And in January of 25, like this year, is when the suit was dismissed by the court, saying that, quote, James like had no realistic prospect of succeeding in a search for the hard drive. So like
it.
maybe he
Hmm.
heard that and was like, okay, like nobody believes in this, and so maybe I should give up. So as of today's Bitcoin price, that hard drive contains
God.
$944 million.
Wow.
Is that insane?
That's insane. That sucks.
So that is the single most expensive human blunder in history. Yes, we've had other blunders like the James Hubble telescope, and like we've collectively as a species, we've had more expensive blunders. But for a
Hmm.
single person, for a single interest to have done anything, this is the biggest one. Do you know what the second biggest one was?
Give me a hint.
It was another Bitcoin guy.
No way.
It
Oh,
was a
those
guy.
fucking
It
nerds.
was a guy. It was a guy named Stephen Thomas who has $827 million in Bitcoins on a thumb drive with a security protocol
Oh, we can't remember it.
that caps out at 10 attempts. He is at 8 attempts.
He doesn't remember his fucking
If he
password.
does two more wrong attempts, the hard drive self destructs.
That is insane.
Yeah, is that nuts?
Yes.
Billions, billions of dollars.
Wow. That's wild. And that their money or their whatever, their Bitcoin for whatever it's worth is like lost forever. Like they can't access it, but no one else can either. They just like reset those couple coins and put them back into circulation. That would inflate it. So now, talking to myself.
I feel like I'd rather be the guy who can't remember his password than this guy
I don't know. I feel like
because I feel like I could like take. I think I could take that thumb drive to like Apple or Microsoft and be like, you can have 90% of the Bitcoins on this wallet. Just
yeah,
give me your best engineers. Solve this for me.
right.
So did I ever tell you that that in 2011 I bought 10 Bitcoins
Oh,
for
you did.
$5? Yeah. Yeah, I used them all. I spent them all. There was this like
Yeah, yeah.
stupid app I wanted to buy for my shitty Android phone, and I
Mm-hmm.
used them all. And when Bitcoin hit $60,000 a piece, I was like, could I have been smart enough to have bought like an extra couple? And I was not.
Yeah.
You know, when I was
Yeah.
talking to Rachel about this, I was like, I don't feel that bad about it because honestly, I probably like by the time it hit like $50 a piece, I would
You
have
would have
probably
sold it.
sold it.
Yeah, and like there's like I always get these like stupid ads for this like stock market investment thing, and it's like, well, if you would have bought Apple in this time, you would have had this much money. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I like that about every fucking stock. Like, if I would have known the future, yes, but I don't.
I will say now I only sounds so stupid and douchey, but I pretty much only when I have spare money to like invest beyond like 401ks and whatever, like I'll put it in Bitcoin because I do think that the closer we get to hitting that cap of 21 million, the more that value is just going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
But I don't, but again, please God, never see me at a bar and talk to me about crypto. I don't care. I don't want to know.
I have a friend who is very passionate about it, and it is weird.
I love people that are passionate no matter what it is. I think it's
Hmm.
great to be into
Yes.
something and
Yeah,
passionate on
it's
something.
of course.
But
That's
in
very kind of
terms
you.
of like and y'all are all probably correct. Like I y'all are probably like in 200 years your corpse will be laughing at my corpse. But right now here that now like it doesn't who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Um, Man, that is wild. I mean, sometimes I like, you know, you accidentally throw away something and you're like so pissed, but it's never, it's like, whatever,
I was
but
telling
like,
Rachel, I was like, dude, like it could also be behind his back seat of his car. Like
my God.
it could
What if
literally
he just like found it?
like if you're one
Who
of these
throws away hard
guys,
drives without wiping them?
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
You know, I feel like I would, but I guess maybe did she throw away the wrong bag or did it just like accidentally have this thing in it?
No, they threw away the bag they thought had the because he went back when it hit 1,000. He was like, "Oh shit, I'm done. I'm done working. I'm done. I'm rich." And then he went to pull it and was like, "Oh my god." Like he mad. Like what would your heart do? I feel like it would jump in a way that like your chest cavity would feel it.
Oh my God, I think I would throw up. Yeah. No, you'd feel terrible.
And that was when you thought you lost 8 million. Never
I
mind
know.
nearly a billion.
Oh my God.
Anyways, fun times. Yeah, that was I learned so much. The fact that I learned that like it was capped at 21 million, I didn't really know that. I didn't know that like the encryption is self-fulfilling. Like it rewrites itself based on how fast it's so interesting. Like
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It was a good concept, I think.
it's cool.
Also, like yeah, money's fake. Like it's fake
Does
anyways.
it, I mean, yes. I mean, we don't know what we're doing anyway, so
Like if it's all based on your trust in it, well, the trust that people have in like green currency is going to be gone in 100 years anyways. So like, why doesn't it make
absolutely.
sense to do this? Like, anyway,
Right. And then like once we're not on the, once we're off the gold standard, we're just like even more making it up, you know?
yeah. So that's my story. Um,
Fun.
again, never ever approach me to talk about crypto. For the love of God.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
You
It happens
have,
to want to.
dude. I bet Juan, because Juan looks like someone who's into crypto. Juan
Hmm.
looks like the kind of guy who would approach me.
It's
No
so
offense,
funny.
Juan. I love you, Juan. Juan, I love you. But, like, you definitely look like someone that would approach me about a crypto scheme.
So funny.
But you had a story. You had a listener mail for
Oh, I
us.
do have a listener mail. Our friend Nadine is actually in a really, really, really northern part of Canada, very similar to Barrow, Alaska. And she was telling me about how because you talked about Barrow, Alaska last week.
Where's she? Where is she?
I'm not sure exactly, but it's like she said it's like it's north, super north in Canada. It's close to Barrow, but she said everything is very, very expensive there because we were talking about how the houses in Barrow were like way more than we thought, which totally makes sense. It's because there's nothing there. You have to bring it there,
Yeah.
you know?
Is
So
she
like,
in Yellowfish?
I don't know.
If you hear this, I heard a lot from my friends up north about Yellowfish and how beautiful, but yeah, crazy remote it is. That you have to like drive through like white glacial ice to get there. And
Yeah.
I heard it's incredible. if you do get there, but it's also really hard. So if you're there, that'll be crazy interesting to know.
Yeah, I think that's like that, and then yeah, that's like the point that she was saying, um, they want like people have to live up there, so like you can say that like it's part of Canada still. So people like live there and inhabit there, but it's like complicated because then it's like so hard to get stuff, and there's also like indigenous people who are still there who've been treated terribly throughout centuries and all of this stuff, and they are trying to like preserve any way of life that they ever had, but then like people are like we have to still have to like defend this area of Canada because you can't just like let the people walk into it. You know what I mean? Um, so
Who,
interesting.
sorry, who
That's
would
cool.
walk into that part of Canada?
Russians,
Uh, can
right?
they really walk over to Canada?
No, I think that like the Bering Strait was gone like thousands of years ago.
Should we
And
do
I
an
don't mean
episode on that?
walk on the Bering Strait.
Yeah.
Sure,
I
I'd
did
love to
research
learn.
that it's named after a guy named Bering,
Is it
and
really?
that's yeah. And I saw
I mean, I guess it
his
makes sense.
grave. Yeah, I saw his grave online, and it was like it's a very modest grave for someone that was named something so important, but
That's really funny.
could be a good topic.
Um, like Taco Bell is named that because the guy who invented it, his last name was Bell.
Yeah,
Like
isn't that
nothing to
wild?
do with Spanish architecture.
Yeah,
So annoying.
never would have thought that.
Wild. Wild. Yeah, that's
That's
what I
it.
got.
That's
If
all
you
I
have
got
any
too.
ideas, if you live somewhere remote and cold, I live somewhere remote and hot, but it's not that remote. Um, Send us an email, doomtofellpod@gmail.com, and we are on social, doomtofellpod.
If you want to create our crypto, the Doom to Fill crypto, we would not be
Mm-hmm.
opposed.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you want to buy Far as a calendar, let me know so that he understands how long weeks are. All the
So
other
mean.
things. I'm sorry, that was just so funny.
Um, well, I think that's all I got. Yeah,
Cool.
doomtofillpod@gmail.com. Write to us on the socials, doomtofillpod. Thank you to you listeners, and thank you to Taylor.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
We'll cut it off.